After watching a lot of bad TV and watching this, there's only one thing I can say.
That felt good.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Was It Good? My name is Bob, and tonight we're going to talk about episode 2 of season 2 of House of the Dragon. Now, after watching episode 1, it felt really good to be back in the world of Game of Thrones. And after episode 1 ended on such a cliffhanger, I was really wondering how episode 2 was going to stack up. Now, if you haven't seen the episode and you don't want anything spoiled, I do need to let you know that there are going to be some spoilers. So if you haven't seen the episode and you don't want anything to be spoiled, go ahead and go check it out and then come back and watch this video. Now, if you have seen the episode, I'd like to know what you thought about it. Why don't you go ahead and share your comments in the comments section below? Let me know what you thought about the episode. Did you like it? Are you liking the season so far? I'd really like to know what you thought. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get to it. Just a quick synopsis of episode 2 titled Rhaenyra the Cruel. As Otto schemes to turn the public against her, Rhaenyra questions Daemon's loyalty. Meanwhile, Sir Criston Cole concocts a misguided plan for revenge. Now, just like many other episodes of Game of Thrones, or even in the first season of House of the Dragon, there's a lot to unpack in this episode, so I'm just going to highlight some of the things that I really enjoyed. The first thing you see is that the episode picks up right after the events of the end of episode 1, and so they're getting all of the servants together and questioning them to find out exactly what happened. And you see Aegon there in his chambers, and there's his father's model that you remember from season 1, and he's just going to town on this thing. And I think it's a good scene because as Aegon is sitting there destroying this model, to me it seems symbolic of the fact that he's going to be a very different ruler than his father. He's not going to be reserved like his father was because his father was very meticulous in the way that he did things, and that's not Aegon. Aegon is ready to jump the gun and take somebody's life for this, and understandably so because his son just died, but it's the fact that the whole scene is symbolic, and I really enjoyed that. Next, I want to talk about Otto Hightower.
Never let a good crisis go to waste.
That's the mentality that he has during this whole crisis, and the fact that he's able to see big picture shows just how intelligent he is as opposed to all of the other characters. So you got the small council gathered together, and you've got Aegon who's really upset and he's blaming Rhaenyra, and then you got Alicent over in the background.
God, you hypocrite.
And she's really upset, and then the camera pans over to Criston Cole. And he's trying to pretend to be innocent, and that's when Otto Hightower takes control of this situation. He realizes that they can use this as an opportunity to sway public opinion towards Aegon's favor, because at this point they're trying to get all the houses to unite behind Aegon, and so he has this idea that if we blame Rhaenyra for this and we make people think that she was responsible for this, then people are going to start swinging their favor towards you. And he even has this moment where he comes up with this idea to do this funeral procession where they're going to take the body of Jaehaerys through the city. And I got to hand it to this show because in typical Game of Thrones fashion, you're expecting something horrible to happen, especially when the wheel of the cart gets stuck and you're thinking, oh my God, they're going to drop this kid. And thankfully, that doesn't happen, but you got to credit Otto Hightower with this plan because it is working. You see public opinion there on the streets swinging towards Aegon, and Rhaenyra even mentions that the houses think that she has something to do with this, so you know it has an effect on the houses. So this plan is working, at least until Aegon decides to flush it down the toilet. When he finds out who's responsible for the death of his son, and he has this guy questioned, and this guy here, he's just spilling the beans.
Okay, I'll talk.
And as they're interrogating this guy, they find out that the other person involved was a rat catcher. So Aegon, since he doesn't know the name of the guy, he just has all the rat catchers killed. And this has a negative impact. And Otto comes up to him and is like, you have just ruined everything that we did. We're trying to swing public opinion your way, and you just absolutely ruined it. And so I love how Otto has the big picture through it all where none of these characters do. He's able to see what could work for them, and then when the opposite happens, he's able to recognize it and try to put things back together. And unfortunately, Aegon doesn't want to have any of his help anymore and actually removes him as hand. But like I said, Otto is a highlight of this episode. The next thing I want to briefly discuss is this scene that occurs between Rhaenyra and Daemon. Now, there's a lot to unpack during this scene, and I don't really want to go into all of it. But the thing that I really appreciate about this scene is the performance from the two actors. These are two characters that have a connection more so than probably a lot of the other characters throughout throughout the show, and they have an understanding of each other. But it's at this point that Rhaenyra finally says, "You know what? I can't trust you. I don't trust you. I probably have never really fully trusted you. My father didn't trust you." And then that's where it comes out that you see that Daemon is still harboring some resentment because he feels that his brother only made Rhaenyra heir just to spite him. And so he's got some resentment. Now, ultimately, I think he's trying to do the best thing for his family, or what he thinks is the best thing. But he does have some resentment there. And the two actors just play this scene really good. I love the way it's played out. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen now that Daemon has left. And finally, I want to talk about the most intense storyline in this episode. And that involves this idea that Kristen Cole has hatched up in order to kill Rhaenyra. So he's got this idea that Sir Eric is going to pretend to be his brother, Sir Eric,
Are you sure I'm Annie?
and infiltrate Dragonstone in order to kill Rhaenyra. Now, he's able to successfully do it, and as he gets into Rhaenyra's chamber to actually go ahead and kill her, that's when the brother shows up. Now, I think that this is an intense scene, but what I like about it is that it's truly representative of the fact that this whole story is a civil war. It's a family infighting amongst itself, and that has spread into other families. It's this whole idea now of brother against brother because they're on opposite sides here. So you've got one trying to kill Rhaenyra, one trying to defend her, and they have this intense battle, and ultimately Sir Eric wins, and he feels horrible about what he's done because he still loves his brother. In fact, during the fight, they're telling each other that they love each other. And after he wins this battle, he ends up taking his own life. And it's just an intense moment. And you got to give it to this show because, again, it gives you dramatic moments, but it knows how to really just hit you in the gut. And so it's a really intense scene. I thought it was the best scene of the of the season so far. It really got to me and I enjoyed it immensely. Now I'm going to make this quick because there's really only one thing that I didn't like, and that is I would have liked to have spent more time with Helena. Now, that might not be possible because, again, I know this is an adaptation from a book, so maybe that's not in the book. I wouldn't know. But just from a storytelling standpoint as a viewer, I would have liked to have spent more time with this character because you see her a little bit at the beginning of the episode, and I really feel for this character, and I think the actress is really doing a great job. So I would have liked to have spent some more time with her. Other than that, there's nothing else that I really didn't like about this episode. Bottom line, was it good? I thought this was another solid episode for what is a solid start to the season. I think it is well acted, well directed. I'm really enjoying the character arcs and the storylines, the way it's all unfolding, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it all plays out. It's been interesting so far, and I just can't wait to see how it finishes. Now, if you're still watching this long, I'd like to thank you for joining me. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.